Oh, and we salute, if everybody would stand and salute the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know.
Who's going to make that? Oh, Mary's going to make it? All right.
Okay, in case of fire, there are two ways to exit the chambers. To my left, and exit through the council chambers, turn left and walk down one flight of stairs and out of the building. Or exit to the door to the rear of the chambers. In either case, once out of the building, walk a safe distance away from the building if you would. Thank you very much. And let's see, could we have roll call, please?
Charles Duran, absent. Charles Ladd.
Here.
Nick Lefakis.
Here.
Mary Scott.
Here.
Virginia Higley.
Here.
Ken Nelson.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
Sarah Gruber.
Here.
Guillermo Salazar.
Here.
And Richard Suzak is here.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to change the order of the alternate commissioners.
Second.
All in favor?
I think you got to add it to the item. You got.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we add an item to the agenda first.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Nope.
I'll make your motion again. I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to change the order of the alternate commissioners.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. And that puts you in as,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we rotate Linda DeGray in for Sarah Gruber to sit in today's commission meeting.
Second.
second.
And I guess, Commissioner Gruber, you are okay with this rotation?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, so.
Well, Ms. Ladd, you're going
Second
to.
vice chair, you are now chair.
You have to appoint her to sit, right? Or you just did with that motion. You're good.
All right. Okay. Staff reports. There's a letter from the town attorney in our binder. I didn't see anything for the zoning enforcement.
No, I believe the zoning enforcement, assistant zoning enforcement officer was here at your last meeting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I didn't get to see it.
You didn't see that?
I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Approval of the minutes for April 19th.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
I had an edit.
Thank
Assume
you.
we're in discussion.
Thank you.
An edit on page 4. Second paragraph where it says Commissioners Higley and Gruber who had attended the hearing. It was a pretrial conference. I don't think you need to change it, but just to be clear. And then second to bottom paragraph, second line down from the top, stipulation which, if approved by the court, Enfield Distribution Center LLC. The "they" was a little ambiguous there. Sorry, so same page, page 4, second paragraph from the bottom starts with Miss Lero. Second line down from that paragraph, beginning with the stipulation in which, comma, if approved by the court, change "they" to Enfield Distribution Center LLC. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing nothing else, take a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes? So it's 7-0-0. There's no old business, no bond releases, new business. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed public participation. Anyone here in the audience who would like to, at this point in the meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission welcomes comments, concerns, and opinions relating to planning and zoning in Enfield from anyone who is present, provided that no one may discuss matters of business at this time. Already elsewhere on the agenda, any matters that is part of an open public hearing of the commission or any matters where a decision of the commission may be pending. Anyone in the public? Anyone in the public want to participate? Third time, anyone from the public? Close public participation. Okay. Mr. Secretary, read the public hearing notice for public hearing 2899.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing 2899, 51 Palumbo Drive, special permit for a package store in the Big Y Plaza, DEF CON Commons LLC owner, Jassy LLC applicant, map 56, lot 7, business local BL zone, dated this 21st day of April 2018. Charles Duran, Chairman. Information is available for review in the Enfield Planning Department.
Is the applicant in the office? Sorry, we're going to take the roll, but
Charles Ladd,
Here.
Nick Lefakis.
Here.
Mary Scott.
Here.
Virginia Higley.
Here.
Ken Nelson.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
Sarah Gruber.
Here.
Guillermo Salazar.
Here.
And Richard Suzak is here.
okay, we're going to ask you to give your name, address, and a little narrative of
What's up?
what your plan is.
My name's Attorney Kevin Smith. I'm from Pellegrino Law Firm in New Haven, Connecticut, and I'm here representing, it's actually Sakshi, S-A-K-S-H-I. That's a typographical error
Okay.
in the agenda. And they have requested a special permit to establish a package store in a vacant storefront in the Big Y shopping plaza. Bhavin Patel, we call him Bobby, and Manej Boga, who is not present tonight, but his wife Anju is here. Bobby has owned multiple package stores in Connecticut over the last 20, 25 years. He currently owns 3 other stores, and they're looking to open a new store. Every one of the stores is a first-class operation, and I expect this one will be too. I think they'll be a good addition to Enfield. They're requesting that the application be granted.
Okay, anybody have any questions for this applicant?
I have one for Roger. Does Connecticut have a limit on how many package stores one person can own in the state?
How many?
Massachusetts does.
They do.
Massachusetts.
Five.
Five?
Five.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the other is, how many do we have in town now? Because we have a state
There is a limit
how
on the
many
number in
stores we
town.
have.
The last time we checked, I think you had 1 or possibly 2. I'm thinking it's 2 because you have 2 applications tonight. But regardless,
2 available?
if you approved it and it's not available, the state wouldn't issue it.
Right. Last time I looked, there were 2.
There were 2 available, yeah.
And the state won't.
Hard to keep
We've
track.
we've
They
gone
keep rotating.
between we've gone between full or 1 or 2. We've never got down below 2.
Okay.
Sarah Gruber.
Thank you.
I think the only question, I saw an article in the Patch the other day about several package stores in Connecticut that had their services suspended for a period of time. Was this isn't one of those, right? This wasn't a transfer? There was one, there was
No, no,
Angie's.
this is a
No,
brand
this
new
is a
one.
vacant, this is a vacant
This is the vacant.
storefront.
Okay, thank you.
It's a startup, yes.
Thanks.
You won't be having anything outside like ice machines or anything like that, or will you?
Probably not.
Okay.
If you do, you have to go through the Board of Health before you can have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And it can't interfere with parking.
Oh, yes, that's also.
Anyone else have questions? Just, this is,
A public hearing.
no, I have a question.
Okay.
Can I have a question? Thanks. For Roger. Would this be going in that same spot that original package store was going to go into in that big white parking lot? In there?
I'm not familiar
No?
with.
There was a package store that was supposed to go in there and it never went.
I think it's right next door to Big Y itself,
Is it?
if I looked at the plan
Yeah,
correctly.
this is
Okay.
not at the same space, it's just a
Okay.
little bit different
All
from
right,
that.
I wasn't exactly sure, that's why.
Yeah, it was approved before, but this is a little bit on the other side,
Okay, all right.
next to Mattress Firm.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right.
I guess your concern was that there would be 2 liquor stores in the same plaza.
Right.
And so I guess we should probably explore that a little bit. Is that approval still valid, or did somebody go in there?
No, nobody went there.
So it's vacant?
The space is vacant, but the liquor permit, I think that is not available anymore for that location. I would say that owner didn't want to go forward.
Well, once he goes in, that'll nullify that anyways. Because he won't be able to.
Well, this,
Well, I guess what I'm thinking is your regulations have a separation distance between liquor stores.
what I
And
meant.
you
Well, the
you
staff-
wouldn't want to be having 2 liquor stores in the same plaza, so.
No, there is none.
the staff report
The
we
other one is already
received,
revoked.
the staff report we received says that there was no liquor store within 1,000 feet as
Right,
required by
not,
regulations.
not currently, but I think this is new information that we're hearing in terms of, so my question would be, Ginny, do you know how long, Commissioner Eagley, do you know how long ago that was approved? Because if it was 5 years ago, it's expired
Oh,
anyhow.
I'd say it's close, if not more.
Okay, so then it's not an issue.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to ask you
Because
to. go ahead.
the only thing is that there is the jug shop, which is just down on the corner of Middle Road and
Oh,
Hazard
yes,
Avenue.
Hazard
But,
Avenue.
yeah, but I think the
That was-
distance
that was
is
addressed
addressed
in the
in
report.
a-
Yeah.
Yeah,
in our report, so.
Right.
Just to point out that there is something
That's
close by,
1200.
Close by, but not
it's-
within
It's
1,000
not that
feet.
close,
1,200 feet away.
right.
Okay, anyone in the public like to speak for or against this applicant? Anyone? Okay.
3 times.
Anyone in the public want to speak for or against this applicant? Not hearing anyone coming forward. The chair will entertain a motion to close, I'm closing the hearing and entertain a motion.
You guys can step down.
She's
Make a
busy.
motion to, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution to approve public hearing 2988 in accordance with the draft resolution dated May 3rd, 2018, as prepared by the Planning Department with the 17 conditions listed.
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, I already did.
Already did that part.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You guys were chatting.
It's okay. Any discussion?
All in favor?
Not hearing any? Yes? No?
Favor?
All in favor?
All in favor? 700.
Good luck with it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you give us the signs back right away? There's a shortage of signs right now.
Yeah, I'll bring it out tomorrow.
Sure, it's just-
Where's mine? I'm ready.
Secretary, you want to read the public notice for
The
903?
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing 2900, 61 Pleasant Street, special permit for a second driveway. No? Oh. Sorry, we're going to skip that one. Yeah, public hearing 2903, 90 Enfield Street, first floor, special permit for a package store, Angie's State Line Plaza Package Store, 90 Enfield Incorporated, Nadia Fairhart, owner, Ganesh and Kuber LLC, Siddharth Patel, applicant, map 35, lot 42, Business General BG Zone, dated this 21st day of April 2018. And I will read the Charles Ladd,
Here.
Nick Lefakis.
Here.
Mary Scott.
Here.
Virginia Higley.
Here.
Ken Nelson.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
Sarah Gruber.
Here.
Guillermo Salazar.
Here.
And Richard Suzak is here.
Welcome. Please state your name and address and give us a little narrative of what's going on.
Thank you. I'm Bridget Gallagher, and I'm an attorney representing the applicant, which of course is an entity, but I do have the two principals here. My client Sid Patel, and I appreciate the effort to pronounce his name. We call him Sid, and his wife, who will be the owner operators. So they are purchasing from the current owner, Angie's State Line Package Store. To answer your question, I don't know that there are two permits available, but as part of our contract, we'll put our liquor application in, and then that Angie's State Line will no longer be available. So that's not a existing available permit. That's an ongoing operation at this point in time. So my client is under contract to purchase that, and intends to assume the lease obligations there. The current seller does not own the real estate. The affidavit of posting the sign was sent in. I just want to, for housekeeping, confirm that that's been received by your office.
Right, and if
Okay.
you can bring it back tomorrow, we'd
The
appreciate it.
signage, yes, we
Signage.
can certainly try to get it back pretty
We
quickly.
literally have no signs at the moment.
Okay, he can certainly
We
do that.
recycle envelopes, as you see.
Well, that's good. There's not anticipated to be any modifications to the current operation. My client is going to maintain the current name of the store. He's not making any physical improvements at this time. There's not expected to be any site work or anything done. He's really going to try to maintain the current integrity of the store, just because for continuity purposes for existing customers, we find that usually, most clients find that that's usually, something that the existing customers are usually more comfortable with rather than a lot of big changes. I do know that one of your commission members may have just mentioned there was a recent suspension, which is new information for us, unfortunately, so we will have to look into that. The seller has certain obligations to disclose things to us, and we're not aware of that. It may have been a sale to underage minor, which is most commonly what liquor stores are cited for. And typically, there's a notice that goes on the door, and it's depending upon the term of the suspension. It might be a day or 2 days or something, but I can assure you that those operators will have nothing to do with the new operation. My understanding from their lawyer is that they're retiring, and they're kind of on their way out. I guess they're done. They're finished with examining fake IDs, I guess. I don't know, but that's unfortunate that occurred. But I can assure you that they're not going to have anything to do with the operation. My client's family, he has a very close extended family, and they have a lot of experience in the liquor store business. My client hasn't operated one on his own. His brother has a very successful operation, and he's fortunate to have that guidance from him. So we would ask that the commission approve this, and of course this precedes the ability for us to put in our liquor application and then close. So it will probably be about 2 months before he, finally gets his application and closes, just to understand the timing.
Okay. Any questions?
I have a couple. I have an observation and a question. The question I'll do first. It says under 2, for hours of operation, it's 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Don't they close at like 8 p.m. for selling liquor?
That used to be, that was the law. Actually, it changed several years ago.
To 10?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, probably within the past 5 years.
Actually, like last 2 years, I can say.
Oh, in the last 2 years. It was
Yeah.
pretty recent.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I've learned something.
Yeah, I think it was to prevent people from going. I think it was actually a lot of it probably came from store
When they
owners
opened
in
on
this
Sunday.
area that wanted to prevent all their customers going after 8 p.m. You know,
It was
to
the same time they
Massachusetts.
changed the Sunday sales. in
Yeah,
grocery
that's what I was
stores.
just going to say. The observation I'd like to make is Monday I had to get my emissions tested. It was the last day. And so I went to Meineke, which is right next door. And you take your life in your hands when you go into that. I'm not saying your parking lot is bad, but I'm saying when I went into Meineke, it was really tired and big holes. So if indeed there's a lot of holes over there, the owner might want to patch a few because people want to buy liquor, but they don't want to lose their car doing it. Just observation.
Well, that's good to know. We'll be in communication with the landlord, obviously, for this. So we may have to look into that. Hopefully they'll do some spring repairs now.
I had a question. One of Attorney Gallagher, one of the March 13 letter, there was a narrative about a parking space for ADA compliance, and I didn't see that in our proposed resolution. Is that being addressed by, would assume, the landlord, or how?
The landlord will probably put the burden on my client,
Okay.
which is fine. It's really, it's really because of my client's, application tonight, and that would trigger that. So
Yeah.
I expect that they'll put that obligation on us, and we'll have to obviously seek their permission to do that. And if we say it's a contingency, I don't know that they're going to have any issue with it.
Okay, and do you, would your client be amenable to providing that? It said so in the letter, I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, so you have to put it, they changed the handicap signage, right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Is that something that we want to add as a site-specific condition?
I think that's what I would want.
All right,
yes.
yes. So we can add that, as, condition 7A under the site-specific area, that a handicap parking or?
It's the signage symbol has
Yeah,
changed.
I believe so.
Okay,
It just
the
said,
sign has to change, okay.
replacing
The
existing signage.
dimensions have changed slightly.
Yep.
You could also consider putting, your rezoning regulations require that parking lots be maintained in good repair. So if, we determined that there were potholes there, we could have them, fill them in, but you could also just put something in the resolution that says the parking lot will be in good repair.
We can add that as 7B, if
Yeah.
everybody agrees that should be addressed.
I did have one question because I was reading the lease. It was a 10-year lease, and it said no subleasing. So how is that going to be
Oh,
handled?
this won't be a sublease, it'll be a direct assignment of the
Okay, because
existing
I
lease.
was worried that if they still had to be involved, how that was going to be handled.
No,
So this
they
is
will
going to
be
be a
out of
brand
it,
new
yep.
lease. Okay, you
Yep.
answered my question.
Boy, a commission that reads leases and all shows up, because I come to a lot of municipalities, and sometimes we leave because people don't even have a quorum, so just know you're a rarity.
Thank you.
For better or for worse.
I will say on the condition of the parking lot, it's an issue that my client doesn't necessarily have control over.
I was going to say, I'm not mentioning it to burden your client. What caught my eye, well, as I said, I went through the emissions, but that's the Enfield Gateway, and if our chair was here, he would have asked the same question, because he's really partial to that area and trying to bring it back. And I think your client will do a very nice job with the package store. If indeed you feel when you see it that there's lots of areas that need addressing, you might want to put that into the ear of the owner with a copy to staff and see if we can't get that resolved, not at your client's expense.
Thank you. And I will note, the last time that this was approved was in 2014, and I knew that the handicap signage requirement changed, but I wasn't aware that the size requirements had changed.
Yeah, the signs for vans have changed a little bit.
Since
too,
2014.
A little bit wider.
Okay. That
We
we
can
can
provide
address.
that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
We're asking for a waiver of the requirements for a site plan review.
Oh, so one of the, and I should raise that specifically too. One of the general requirements for a special permit use is the site plan. But again, we're not making any exterior changes short of bringing it into compliance on the handicap space. So we would ask that that be waived because there's really not a need for the commission to establish that all the zoning requirements are being met because it's already existing, it's already been established in 2014.
Well, what we have in the file is a plan that the commission approved, and Peter Falk signed as secretary on April 10th, 2014, and under your regulations, a site plan is good for 5 years. So they did provide a site plan, and there's nothing changing.
So we don't need a waiver?
So I don't think you need a waiver myself. I think they're good.
Okay.
Yeah, in the documentation that I saw in our submittal, it did have enough information for us to make a decision as to, what was there.
Right.
So, in that case,
So it's
I
well
think that-
within your province to determine that you have enough information, but particularly since there's still a valid site plan on file for the entire complex, I think you're good.
All right. Anyone in the public want to speak for or against this applicant? Anyone in the public want to speak for or against the applicant? Last time, anyone in the public want to speak for or against the applicant? Hearing none, I'll close public hearing 2903. Any discussion? Oh, any discussion?
Because the only thing do we want to include that, the second condition, the 7B condition about maintaining the parking area in good repair?
I think it's a little tough because it's likely not under the applicant's control.
I think it's the handicap space that was 7B.
All right, so we'll strike that one.
I think
okay.
7A would just be to bring the
Fine. All right.
the ADA parking space into compliance.
All right, good, thank you.
Roger, on your staff report here, there shows some measurements, and I'm not sure what those measurements are for, what they're referring to. There's one for 997.8 feet and another for 1,000.9 feet.
What the distance between them?
So between what? What is that landmark there? What are each of these for? What I'm trying to figure out is what is it you're measuring here? Distance from what? And where are the other
What
ones?
page are we on?
There is no other package.
That's the
store
first
staff
page of the-
report.
Oh, the very first page?
First page of the staff report.
Well, if we're
Where are they coming from?
measuring distances, if you go up to the first page, it says, as shown, there are no public schools, playgrounds, churches, places of worship, or other liquor stores located within 1,000 feet. And so, but then they have a measurement of 997, so.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
What is that?
Yeah,
What place is that, I guess? Is that a place?
I didn't see this report
Would that be state line?
because, as you know, I was
Yeah, I don't
away,
know.
but I would assume that,
state line.
you mean, that might have been what they took
Distance to the state
off
line.
of GIS, and then when they actually dug into it further, it was determined it was more than 1,000 feet. I would assume that's what it is.
I think if you orient the page so that you would be coming out of 90 Enfield Street, one of those measurements is turning left. The other one of those measurements appears to be turning right. So it doesn't look like the same measurement to me.
No, the one's different.
Right.
And they're two different places.
hard
but
to
the top
tell.
one, yeah. The top one is the one I'm like, why is that?
Right.
Unless we're definitely rounding up from 997 to.
I think what happened was that
Yes.
the determination in the first paragraph was made by staff, but when they put the graphic in to follow it up, they're 2.5 feet off. But if you're measuring from GIS, you can easily be 2.5 feet off.
It could, and I'm guessing, is the original package store that used to be, might have been 997 feet to the new one. State
And-
line
and that-
package store to Angie's.
Yeah, that's the old Angie's,
Yeah.
so that'll be closed.
That's
So it's
closed.
a moot point.
That's vacant.
But if I look at, in the file, and I look at the site plan review, sheet where we go through and check off all of those things, it does have a determination that supports the first paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, perfect, thank you. I just wanted know
You think they don't do their homework?
Know how to read.
Entertain a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that I'll move to approve the resolution for the approval of public hearing number 2903 for the resolution included in our packet dated May 3rd with, as prepared by the Planning Department with the 12 conditions listed, plus an additional condition under site-specific 7A, that the handicap signage be updated to conform with the current regulations.
All in favor? Oh,
Second.
sorry. All in favor? Okay. 700. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes.
Okay, the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing 2906, 95 High Street, special use application for a restaurant with a liquor permit. Colberta Shaves applicant, Molina's Plaza LLC owner, map 25, lot 6, Thompsonville Village Center Zone, dated this 21st day of April 2018.
Is the applicant present?
Let me take the roll.
You can come up.
Charles Ladd.
Here.
Nick Lefakis.
Here.
Mary Scott.
Here.
Virginia Higley.
Here.
Ken Nelson.
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
Sarah Gruber.
Here.
Guillermo Salazar.
Here.
And Richard Suzak is here.
Madam Chair, Lady, and members of the Commission, this is pretty much housekeeping. At the time that this was approved a month or so ago, the Health Department had only approved breakfast until like 2 in the afternoon or something like that, and there was no application for liquor. So this is to remove the restriction for breakfast only, allow regular hours for the restaurant, and to allow them to have liquor. There was full liquor previously on the prior restaurant that was there, so staff endorses the application. And I must say the applicant's been very cooperative.
Okay, please introduce yourself and tell us about you.
My name is Maria Chavez, and I'm the manager of the Serapis Mexican restaurant, representing my mother, Cuthberta Chavez, which is the owner of the restaurant. So we are moving from 917 Enfield Street to 95 High Street, and looking to get approval for a full breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a full liquor license. We're looking to expand our business, and we get this great opportunity. We've been serving the town of Enfield and surrounding areas through Connecticut for 16 years. And I think my father and my mom are doing a very good job in this town, and we really, as a family, want to try to continue to do our best in cooking our authentic Mexican food in town.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Actually, I do have a question. It's in reference to an issue that was raised earlier, but I also saw in the patch in the local, I guess, journal, newspaper, that you had been cited, and I didn't understand why in terms of a liquor license. Is that correct?
Even what?
That you have been cited by the...
I don't think this, I think you're talking about the former restaurant that operated at the space where they are going into.
Oh, I thought I saw Serapis, that's why I'm asking. So
I'm not aware of that.
Did I read that incorrectly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You currently don't serve alcohol, do you?
Not at 95 High Street,
Yeah.
no. No. It's just breakfast, 7 to 3 p.m. And the restaurant at 917, we open all day, and we serving, we have a liquor permit there. Yep.
And you haven't been cited? You haven't been cited for serving minors at your current location?
Last month? No.
No.
Nick?
I think this is a good opportunity, and given that the present location that was held by a former operator had a liquor permit or liquor license and served dinner, and that they presently have one, it seems like it's an easy request to support.
Having visited your restaurant, I don't know how many times over the years, I just want to say your family should be so proud. This, to me, is a huge step up, and I will support you any way I can. The food is tremendous. I'm trying to give you a free plug for the people watching. The burritos, my mouth's watering. I'm probably going to get one on the way home, but congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you very much.
It's proof that hard work pays off. You should be
Yes.
very proud.
Yes.
Maybe wait a few days before you get the burrito.
I'll pay for it.
It's really the tamales that are the best. I don't know what you're talking about. They're excellent.
Will you have other things besides Mexican food?
Yes, we really want to keep the American breakfast the formerly owners used to have, just because it's been really successful, and it was really sad that they closed down. But good thing the person who's cooking are Mexican.
Great.
So they cooking your American breakfast really good. So we have no issue with that. And we just want to continue to do it. We're going to serve it probably from 7 to 12, and then 12 Mexican lunch and dinner.
Rich?
Yep.
Sounds like a plan.
The only other thing that I'd like to add is I did notice that you are open to 10 p.m. So that, if there are any late eaters out there, is that your plan to be open that late?
We want to open until 10, just because we're going to have the license, the full liquor license.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that if there's anybody who's hungry late at night, and it's before 10 o'clock, you can, shake a tail and get down there really early so that...
Yeah, when our meetings end early, if they do, then we can make it there.
So anyway.
There is a demographic commissioner that doesn't go out until 10, so they wouldn't consider that late at night.
Just one quick question.
Yes.
You are going to close the Enfield Street store?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. No.
Yep.
Great. That's awesome.
I have one more, comment about the hours of operation. Those seem fine, but they're not listed in the special permit that we have. I know the hours of operation, or at least the hours for the breakfast portion, were mentioned in the prior hearing, but I just didn't know if we wanted to incorporate those hours into the special permit or not.
Why would
resolution.
Why would we want to limit them on hours?
Yeah, the problem with the hours is what if they decide to stay till 11? Do they have to come back to get a amendment to the special permit, and then it's a public hearing and so on and so forth? So, the hours are for your information and so forth, but it becomes an enforcement and an administrative nightmare if they want to change them differently.
Well, looking at the site plan too, it also shows that they have banquet area. So if you wanted to host your reception for your wedding and it runs over 10 o'clock, parties like that go to midnight, and it's not fair to them. So I wouldn't be okay with putting a limit on hours.
So, sorry to bring this up again, but I'm looking at the patch, and it says that Serapis was cited in the month of April. So, do they have the wrong information? They say Serapis on Route 5 in Enfield.
You mean they have like an inspection on some Thursday? They went like over 25 restaurants, and one of ours was one of our new waiter, which we provide with the information to ask for the ID. I'm sorry, I didn't really understand your question before. But yes, we did cut up with the new waiter. He didn't ask for this ID to this minor. And yes, we did pay a fine for that. And we have closed April 16. We're not supposed to sell liquor. Mm-hmm. So we take all the beer out of the cooler, and we didn't sell for that day on April 16, which was Monday.
Okay, so that was basically a training issue, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yep. Okay. And we paid a fine. It was $750 that we pay. But this because it was a new waiter who did forget to ask for the ID. But we really enforce, like even, everybody we ask an ID. Some people get mad, some people just laugh. Are you kidding? When we ask for the ID, but now it's for everybody.
It's happened before.
In 16 years, is this your first and only violation?
Yes.
Things happen.
Hey, congratulations on that one.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll open it up to the public, but there's no one out there. Opening up to the public. Anyone's... Seeing there's nobody in the public, I'm going to close public hearing 2906. Any further discussion?
No.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing 2906, 95 High Street. According to the draft resolution prepared by the Department of, or the Planning Department, dated May 3rd, 2018, with 18 conditions.
Second.
All in favor? 700. Great, I can't wait.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Don't close Enfield Street until you're fully operating over there, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's definitely a point. Oh, yeah.
All right, great. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
And
you.
good
When are
luck.
you planning on closing the Enfield Street location?
We need to put our liquor permit in. We don't really want to close until that gets approved at 95. I don't know how long it'll take with the consumer protection.
Right. Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
About a week and he'll be over for the burrito.
Okay. He's there all the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why does he have to wait then?
Okay, in your binders, there was a very nice, thank you for these. I like these updates on site reviews and what's happening. I appreciate that. Yeah, so, yeah.
What we're trying to do is just demystify the planning division, and give you an update. It's helpful for us, but it's also helpful so people know what's happening. So,
Roger, may I ask how much time it takes to update this each meeting? And I assume you do it for multiple agencies, or?
well, we scrub it twice a month for public distribution, but we use it in the office amongst ourselves all the time, so that we're on top of, did they post that bond yet? Otherwise you got to go and pull the file and look it up, or what have you. So, but it's and it's not this. We don't have every application that's pending. The way we track stuff in the office is we printed it out the other day. We started this list when I arrived, and it goes from February of 2016. Up until yesterday, there was some 1,413 items that come through the office to try to track. And so we have everything that comes in is stamped in and goes on a universal spreadsheet that's tracked electronically. Then we have the enforcement reports of both code enforcement and zoning enforcement. We have our view permit, which is the electronic database that we track, and then we have the building permit that we track. So
I guess what I was getting at was I appreciate it, but if you are tracking and keep up to date a document other than the document that you're giving us, I would want to ask how much additional time it is to create this every 2 weeks when, all things considered, you don't need to demystify the planning office to us.
It's actually not that bad because I mean it's on the computer. You open it up and you say, 130 Elm Street. Anything changed? And you're not retyping anything in. You're putting there. And if you read the town manager's project activity reports, which he gives to the council. We are asked for that information twice a month for the town manager, and then he selects from it. And some of these items you may see in the town manager's report to the town council. So we can't do it for everything that's pending in the office, but we try to stay on top of it. And it is helpful because other commissions who've had an item before them and then wondering whatever happened to it, they get to say, that's where that's at. So it really, I think when we first started it, it was a little bit labor intensive, but it's pretty much routine. It might take a half hour, 45 minutes to put one of those together, one of these.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just trying to get to how long it takes you to make it. So thank you.
45 minutes
Great.
to an hour at most, and as part of it is like me saying to staff, why is it that is still here? What is the holdup? So even from that standpoint, it's helpful.
Okay. We don't have any other business, any correspondence?
No, the only item that I would like to just bring up, and I don't want to mention applications or names or anything else, but we have a situation where we have a potential applicant, I'll put it that way, who has asked about, and I don't even want to give the specifics of the zone or what the issue is, but there is a requirement in your zoning regulations right now that has been there since 2002, and the applicant believes that it was an error in 2002 from going to an old set of regulations to putting together a table. So the problem for staff is that the regulation has existed as written since 2002, which is 16 years. And the applicant is saying, but I believe that that's an error, and it occurred in 2002 when this table was created, and the table was created wrong. So after all deliberation, and we've roundtabled it, in the planning office, we're of the opinion that what the regulation is what the regulation is. Huh?
What is the section?
Well,
It's very hard
No,
for
I'm
us to
saying I
understand.
don't really, because if I don't want to get into the specifics of it because I don't want to prejudice anybody's
The
future
only-
vote. So I
right.
just want to talk on the in general. If you have a section of the regulations that says X, but the applicant says, well, it says X, but it really that's really not what the commission intended in 2002. Well, you go and look at the 2002 minutes, there's no discussion.
No.
It was
Right, then it's
it was
part of the
codified.
regulation.
Yeah, and I'll bet
So my best advice to the applicant at this point is go with the 2018 regulations.
Right.
So,
was
but
gonna-
That's
I just
where we're
felt
at
an
now.
obligation to ask the commission whether I should be looking at it in any other
No.
way.
No.
no.
It's very hard to tell what you're talking about, so it's very hard to give you any guidance on the issue.
Well, I know, but the thing is that if I was to mention what
I understand
the
why
specific
there's no
application
specifics. I get it. I'm just
then
saying.
we would perhaps be prejudicing
Because the only thing I should say, the only thing that we need to determine is that the regulations are the regulations and that we can interpret the regulations any way we want them. But we are bound by what the regulations say. So that is the starting point. In terms of the starting point shouldn't be, I think this is an error. I think the starting point should always be, this is what the regulations say. Is it fair? Is it consistent? And do we see that it's a hardship on the owner or it's not a hardship on the owner? So I think that, once we start, we should start from a level playing ground that the regulations need to be, interpreted and enforced to the best of our ability, and not necessarily say that they're in error. I think that they need to be, the regulations are what they are, and that's where we start.
And we've been applying them for 16 years.
Correct.
So,
right. Cause
and again, we don't know what you're talking about, so
right. But
we're not going to be prejudiced when it comes to us.
Right. Regulations always change in terms of, we're always involved in regulations and interpreting them. And there's always a reason why they change, and not necessarily for the better, and sometimes they change for the worse. But as long as you know why they changed and you can compare, what they're trying to imply, then it's easier to make that kind of decision. But I think that we should always start with the regulations are correct, not in error.
Okay. Any commissioner correspondence?
Yes.
Go.
I'd like to congratulate ourselves. If you drive around town, you'll notice that the parking lots and a lot of the landscaping that we've asked applicants to put in is in bloom and looks great. And I think it's a tribute to present and previous commissions and present and previous planners that we have had the foresight to do that. It's good for the environment and the aesthetics.
Anybody else?
Yeah, there is a barn that collapsed about 7 years ago on Town Farm Road that's still laying collapsed.
It'll uncollapse.
It's not too far from, it's a road that comes down there.
Abby?
No, it's in between, the one that cuts through Abbey Center.
Post Office Road?
Well,
Wallop School.
No, the other way. It's right on Town Farm Road, but it's by the golf course, the road that comes by the golf course.
Broadbrook Road.
No, the other one that comes by the golf course, where you go into the golf course.
Abby.
No, that's not Abbey.
That's not Abbey, no.
It's got to be Town Farm.
It's
It's probably Town Farm.
Yeah.
Right on that, close to that corner. The thing's been down about 5 to 7 years now. Collapsed in one of the storms and has been staying collapsed without anybody picking it up. Probably should be a blight by now, I would think. Might want to take a look and see what you guys think.
To the left of the golf course?
No, it's on Broadbrook Road. You come out,
It's on Broadbrook Road.
Oh, where
Right.
where the kid died.
you
Right
come
where
out
the
Broadbrook
pump
Road.
house is.
Yeah,
There's a
you-
little pump house right
Right.
before it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tobacco barn, but they're obviously not putting any plants in there.
There's quite a few of them around town still that are collapsed from that storm.
Yes,
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
This is on a pretty big, good-sized road and well-traveled, and pretty obvious.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything in the pending, but I've noticed a number of trees were cleared on Shaker Road just before the corner with North Maple. Is there anything planned for that?
I don't know, I'll find out.
Thank you.
You mean plan in terms of replacing the trees, or is there an event
No,
happening that's why they
somebody's
took-
planning to develop it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you that in last week, we probably got 10 or 12 new applications come in. That were, this is our busy time. People have coming in. Your next meeting in 2 weeks is going to be, a very long meeting. So that's the good news. The good news is people want to invest in Enfield, and there's a lot of interest and a lot of things happening.
It's got another one too on Hazard Avenue, the doctor's office that cleared the lot.
160.
Right.
Right.
They're
They're
things, but they're all short.
right. The as-built was submitted on that. We told them that the landscape was deficient, and they have not got their certificate of zoning compliance or their CO. So it is an ongoing issue.
I was asking because one of the neighbors directly behind there.
Right. No, you brought that to our attention. We staff went out, concurred with your observations, and notified the builder. There is a substantial performance bond they're holding on that.
Right. But they took down a lot of trees that shouldn't have come down.
And they're supposed to put back specimen trees, not just short trees.
Right. Most of these are probably 3 feet.
The good news is it's a beautiful building.
It is.
And it's a lot of people want to go in there. It's going to be filled up very, very soon.
Yeah. But but it doesn't give us the buffer that we're supposed to have.
Right. Well, the buffer, given the amount of performance bond that this commission's holding, I'm pretty confident that it may not be tomorrow or it may not be till next spring that they're grown, but you will have a buffer in there for the residents. Again, because knowing this commission, you're not going to release that bond.
Yeah, I noticed it was on one of the 10 pages of stuff, for bonds.
The bond,
yeah.
Okay.
But I think this list also was helpful because to try to give folks the notion of the breadth and depth of what your planning division does, because everything starts with planning and ends up with planning. And so we're not involved in a project for months on end, and then we're back into it again. So there are many points throughout the process where you need to come through our office. So with that,
Director,
the goal
do you have any-
was to get out of here by 8 o'clock. So I'm cooperating. I don't
Okay.
have any further.
So,
I
you
have
have nothing else to
nothing
report?
further, Madam Chair.
No administrative approvals. We got a list of the applications that are being received. Anything else?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All right.